Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for rolling out the mat with me today. I am outside of my house in Manitou Springs, Colorado, and so it's a really nice fall day. We might have a couple breezes. I am outside, so you might hear some trucks, some dogs. We've got Jameson with us here. At some point you might hear my cat screaming because she gets jealous and wants to come outside too. But she's mean, so I don't want her to beat up the dog on video. So we'll get started today. This will be about an hour-long session, and it'll be a full body session. All levels welcome here, even beginners, even advanced folks. So please just make sure that you practice within your scope and whatever is available to you. And so these last couple of weeks I've been talking about the Yamas. The Yamas are the first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. And so there are 5 Yamas. And so my previous videos have been about Ahimsa, which is non-violence, Satya, which is non-lying, truthfulness, Asteya, which means non-stealing, and today I'm going to talk about Brahmacharya. And so Brahmacharya, it means act your best. It is the right use of action. And so today I want to offer a mudra for all of us. It's called the Kubera mudra, and that is the mudra of wealth. And so I'll explain why I chose that here in a moment. So what we do with our hands is we tuck our pinky finger and our ring finger into our hand, and then we touch the tips of middle finger, index finger, and thumb together. So you've got your 3 fingers, your thumb, index, and middle finger, they're just touching. And then the other 2, the ring and pinky, they just kind of curl down in the hand gently. So don't feel like you have to hold this with a lot of intensity. Feel free to let it just be a soft grasp with your hands. Feel free to let it land on your knees, or if it feels better to hold them up to your sides. Now this mudra brings some awareness and some energy to the solar plexus. And so that is a yellow energy center. It's above your belly button and below your heart, and it's yellow. So you can kind of imagine a yellow bubble right in the center of your being. And that's the solar plexus, and it's where a lot of our kind of vital energy comes from, the energy that keeps us going even when we get tired. And so this mudra helps us to bring energy to that space. And so let's close our eyes, and let's bring our awareness into our breath. Our breath is the best way to bring ourselves to this moment, to how we feel currently in our body and in our mind. So go ahead and take some deep breaths, just bringing some awareness to the breath. Breathing in really deep, as deeply as you can. Breathing out, letting your shoulders relax. Letting your hands be in the position, but be relaxed. And so I chose the Kubera mudra because if we have this vital energy inside of us, we really have true wealth. We've got energy. We've got vitality. And so let's bring about our best vitality so that we can put forth our best efforts in our yoga practice and in our day. And that is what Brahmacharya means. It's the right use of your energy. And so what that actually translates to is Brahma is the word in Hindi and Sanskrit for the greatest God. And Charya means go forth towards. So to me it means act like God, or go forth being God or being divine. Be the best human that you can be. And so let's continue to breathe while we're here. And And while we're practicing today, make sure to honor your body and make sure to listen to your body and be healing with all of your movements, non-harming. Be honest with yourself about how you're feeling in each of the positions and if it's in your capability, in your scope. And yet don't steal that practice from yourself by not indulging in any postures. Try each pose. See if it's available to you today. Every day is different. Every moment is different. Now go ahead and release your hands here and just spread your fingers wide. And let's do some movement with our breath. So as you inhale, lift your arms out in front of you and scoop them up towards the sky. And as you exhale, float your hands back down towards your knees, towards your lap. And we'll do that about 4 more times, so 5 breaths total. We'll do 3 more. Last breath. Reach your arms out to the side this time. And with an inhale, scoop your arms out to the side and up just as high as they go. If there's pain, stop before the pain. Exhale and float your hands down. Inhale and reach them back up. Lift up through your ribs, up through your crown. Exhale, float the arms down. Feel your sits bones connect. 1 more out to the sides. We're going to lift our arms out to the side and pretend like someone is pulling on the arms. So someone is on your left side, someone's on your right side, and they're pulling the arms out. We're going to start to lean from side to side like the right person is pulling and then the left person is pulling. 1 more to the right. 1 more to the left. And then we're going to go to the right and drop the right hand down, and the left hand will reach up to the sky, over your head, over towards the right side. Take a couple breaths while you're here. Try to relax that right shoulder. Feel the stretch in your left side, but try to keep it in a place that feels good, non-harming. With an inhale, bring yourself back up to center and reach those arms out like someone is pulling on each wrist. We'll lean over to the left and drop that hand down, and then reach the right hand up and maybe continue over depending on your capability in the shoulder. Now remember, relax your left shoulder. Feel the stretch on the right side. I feel it right in my waist. Last breath there. Inhale, bring yourself back up. Bring your hands onto your knees, and if you need to switch your legs, please feel free to do that at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my cross-legged seated pose so that the other leg's on top, just so I give the other side a little attention. But if you have a side that's kind of like your good side, and that's the only side that feels right, then stick with that side. And if the legs need to be lengthened out, go to that anytime. So let's round our back like a mad cat and kind of round the shoulders. Sag towards your tailbone. And then start to roll forward towards the front of your pelvis and shrug your shoulder blades back. Open your heart. And we'll go the other way, rounding the back once again. Rounding towards the tailbone. And then rolling forward towards the front of your pelvis. Open your heart, shrug those shoulders back. So let's go 1 more time backwards. 1 more time forwards. Choose a direction. I'm going to go to the right. So I'm leaning out to the right, hanging on with my left arm. Sag the back towards the back wall and then lean out towards the left. And then come forward. And we'll visit those 4 directions to the right, the back, the left, the front. And then smooth it out so that it's just a big circle. And if you want to, you can do that direction a couple more times. Whenever you're ready, switch directions and do at least 3 rotations to the opposite direction, going to the left and then back and then over to the right and then forward. So that you're just reversing that motion in the body, making sure both sides get some equal attention. Awesome work, everybody. Come on back to center. All right, so let's move through our neck just a couple times. We'll bring that movement, that circular movement, up through the neck. So choose one direction and just do a couple circles. And if you find a spot where you kind of get stuck as you're rolling around through the neck, a good spot, you can hang out there and kind of carve that spot out if you'd like. And then make sure to go the other direction too, just like we did with the torso. We're just kind of rolling out the neck. Keep those shoulders lowered so that they're not rising up to the ears. We're just rolling the neck, feeling any crunchies, any tight spots. And then we'll come back up to center. We're gonna just twist it out a little bit before we start working on the legs. So let's take our right hand over to the left thigh. So if your legs are straight out, it's okay, left thigh, left knee. Left hand is gonna come back behind you, to the mat behind you, to the floor behind you, and we wanna sit up as tall as we can. Take a big inhale. And as you exhale, add a gentle twist. Inhale again, sit up even taller, and then exhale, bend into that left elbow if you need to add the twist. One more time. If there's pain, don't go that far. And we'll start to unwind, so swing your right arm back behind you, and then we're going to swing the left arm over to the right thigh or knee. Inhale to sit up tall, exhale, add a twist. Couple more breaths, just twisting into that area in your lower back and your hips. Last breath there, and then we'll unwind. Let's add a couple stretches into our legs, and then we'll start moving along into our full body movement. So let's stretch our legs out long here. I'm going to turn long ways here on my mat. And then we want to make sure that our feet are separated here. So you don't want your feet together, you want them to be about a hip distance apart. So I often measure that out with a block between my feet. Alright, so we're going to take a big inhale up to the sky, reach on up to the ceiling, lengthen up. Pretend like your upper body is a staff or a stick being jammed into the ground, a post. One more breath, holding it here, kind of like you're sucking it in. And then we'll fold over the legs, reaching for your shins, ankles, or toes. Now we want to bring awareness to how the legs are situated here. So if you start to let them roll out and relax, you're not going to be feeling the correct stretch. You will feel something, but it won't be in the hamstrings. It should be in the outer knees if you roll out. So we want to feel the stretch behind our knees, behind our hamstrings. Keep your toes and knees pointed up. Let's take one last breath here, just holding that forward fold. And then we'll roll up about halfway or all the way. And then we're going to let our legs, our toes roll out to the side. And bring your feet together. Not close to your body though, just kind of out in the distance. I can reach for my feet, but my knees resemble a diamond. And then we'll reach for the feet or reach for that space between your heels and your hips. And you should feel the outer knee start to stretch. You can round your back into that position. I often feel like a turtle when I'm here, with my back as the shell. Great work. Let's roll up, and then we'll bring our feet in as close as you can towards your body. Sit up nice and tall. Support your knees with props if you need to. And we'll start to lean that tall spine, that tall torso towards the feet. Just warming up before we get moving today. Opening the inner thighs, adductors, groin muscles. You might feel something there in the inner thigh and groin area. I also feel it around my sacrum and my lower back. If you'd like to, you can rock a little bit from the right and the left. Awesome work, everybody. Let's roll up back to seated. And we're going to kick our right leg out. Keep your left knee bent. So again, if your knee needs a little support, you could always bring a block underneath it or a rolled up blanket. We're going to sit up nice and tall and face our heart towards our right big toe. Big inhale all the way up to the sky, and then we'll fold forward over top of that right leg. You want to keep your right toes and your right knee pointed up to the ceiling. So don't let your leg flop out or get lazy. While we're here, let's try a couple positions with our spine. So right now I'm rounded through my back. And then I'm going to inhale and sit up tall and let the shoulders drop. And then exhale and round over. Look at my knee. Inhale, look at my toe, lift the crown. Exhale, round over. Great job. Roll up about halfway. Separate your right leg from your left foot. Adjust your hips gently out to a diagonal. So now I'm feeling a right inner thigh stretch. And I'm going to just reach my right hand down my right leg. Left hand will reach out in the opposite direction. Again, it kind of feels like someone is pulling on my left wrist, pulling away. But then I'm going to reach that arm up to the sky and fan the left arm over. Relax that right shoulder while you're there. You should feel something throughout your left side body and maybe a little inner thigh on the right side. Just take 2 more breaths. Let your head lean to the right. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to center. Rotate back ahead. Let's do it all on the other side. So we're going to kick our left leg out straight, toes and knee pointed up. The right knee is going to bend back in so that the foot meets your inner thigh. So we're in a figure 4. You can either slide down your left leg or you can sweep up first, creating length. And then fold over top that left leg. Relax the left shoulders, bow your head. Take a couple breaths, just feeling that stretch up the back of your left leg. The right use of action, so don't push yourself too hard. It's kind of like finding moderation in all things. Not finding excess, finding the spot that's just right. Beautiful work. With an inhale, sit up tall. Look at your toes or look ahead. With an exhale, look down at your left knee, round your back. Inhale, tall spine, shoulders down. And exhale to round over. Inhale and slide up to your left knee. And we're going to adjust. So I separate my left foot, my left leg from my right foot. And then again, I'm going to adjust my right foot a little bit further so that I can adjust my hips at a diagonal. We're going to reach just our left arm down our left leg. The right hand will reach out to the side. Someone's going to pull out on that right wrist, pulling you away. And then you reach that right arm up to the sky, and maybe it continues over towards your left foot. Try to keep your heart open to the side, perhaps even looking up towards the sky underneath your right arm. Inhale, bring yourself back up to center, and we'll rotate back ahead, kicking both legs out. Once again, wiggle those legs out, do some window wipers. Let's try another forward fold, sliding from the knees to the ankles, rounding over or creating a straight spine. It's up to you. You can try a little bit of both, see what your options are, and then go to the pose that best serves you. I like having a straight spine, tall spine, shoulders down, grabbing onto my big toes, and then we'll roll down and relax back to seated. Let's make our way to hands and knees, my friends. So if you have some water close by, grab some water. If you need to make some adjustments, make some adjustments. I'm going to take my sweater off because I'm starting to warm up, and it's really a bulky one. All right, Gino, you could have this. You could have my sweater. Okay, there we go. You're welcome. All right, so knees down here on the blanket or on a carpet or maybe a pillow that you have handy. Hands flat. So I see a lot of people rise up onto their fingers, and I mean that's great if you want to do push-ups that way, but we really want to create strength in our wrists. So either fists or palms flat. Those are the best options. Fingers spread. Let's just rock our hips from side to side here and start to warm them up. Nice, and then we'll come back to center and round the spine up, a traditional cat pose, and then drop the spine down, a traditional cow. Let's do it again, rounding the spine, and dropping the spine. Now be careful, I know when I first started yoga, my back would kind of spasm during these motions, so just being aware, keeping your body in that non-harming. Nice. And then what we're going to do is add all those side to side and up and down movements together. So we're going to rock the ribs. I'm rocking my ribs out to the left, and then I drop the belly through, rock the ribs out to the right, and then round the spine up and go over to the left. So it's kind of like I'm creating a big cylinder with my body. Your ribs are kind of like a butter knife scraping out the peanut butter jar, all the edges. Nice. Make sure to go both directions because we have to get all of those edges of the peanut butter jar, even those edges kind of under the lid that we don't get to very often. Great work, everybody. Let's come back to center. And let's take some of that weight off of our hands by coming into puppy pose. Walking the hands forward, walking the knees back, dropping through the elbows, through the forehead, and through the chest. The chest might be the most important part, so you want to feel your chest reaching down towards the ground, feeling your hips lifting up, kind of like a playful puppy. Let's add a twist here, a bind if you will. So I roll back up onto my palms, but they're still extended way out in front. I'll sweep my left arm out to the side, and then underneath my body so that I'm landing on my left shoulder and the left side of my face. The right arm can continue to reach over your head. Other options for those of you who want to go further, right arm could reach up to the sky. Right arm could bend and come to your low back. That's called a bind. Now you want that twist to come from your mid-back. You don't want your knees to be lifting here. 1 or 2 more breaths. See if you can sustain that posture, but remember, you want to stay in a healing area. So if it starts to hurt, you could be harming yourself, and we don't want to do that. Be honest. When you're ready, come back to center, pushing through your right arm to bring the left arm back into alignment. Now we're going to do that on the other side. I'm just going to rotate around so that I can always be gazing at the camera here. So again, hands are flat. Walk them out in front of you. This time it's the right arm that's going to reach out. And then we'll thread the needle, if you will, underneath that left elbow. Hips are lifted. Right arm is straight out underneath. You're on the right shoulder and on the right side of your face. The left arm can crawl forward so that it's extended. Other options, reaching the left arm up or binding it to the low back. The twist comes through the chest, not the knee lifting. Because my left knee really wants to lift right now. But I have to keep it grounded. Keep the hips level, aligned. Now when you're ready, just bring that left arm back down. Push through that hand and bring the right arm back down. We'll come back to puppy pose, melting through the chest, the forehead. Hips stay lifted. Come on up, roll up to your tabletop position. Walk your hands back towards your body so that you're back in tabletop. We'll do a couple of these extended cat poses here. So what that means is we're going to round our back like a mad cat, and we're going to almost sit into child's pose. Then we're going to roll up, open the chest, come to cow. Couple more, round the back, come back as far as you can, extend the cat. And then press forward. This just gets us used to having some pressure on the wrists. And we'll do that one more time. And then come on back up. Let's lift our left leg up into the air behind us. The knee could stay bent or the leg can stay straight. It's up to you. Take a big inhale there, and then we're going to round the back tap that elbow with the knee. So left elbow, left knee. We'll lift it back up. Look forward. Exhale and tap. Look down, look back. Make sure you're doing it right. One more time. Look forward, extend, and then tap. We'll do it on the other side. Right leg extends back. Look forward. And then exhale, round your back. Make sure your knee comes forward, and it's like a crunch. Inhale and lift. Exhale and crunch. One more. And then we'll drop the right knee. Tuck those toes and let's kind of walk them out. You can kind of see how I lift each foot once in a while, and I'm just kind of doing one at a time, pressing the toes into the mat. We'll roll up into our first downward dog. And we'll start to pedal those heels out, bringing the stretch down into the calf muscles. So as I press my left heel down, I bend my right knee. And then I switch it so that the right heel is pressing down and the left knee is bending. Back and forth a couple times. Reach your left leg up into the air. Look forward towards your hands, and as you exhale, bring your left knee towards your left elbow. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. One more like that. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale. I know that's a lot of work, so go ahead and drop your left foot down Let's take a little breather by coming down to hands and knees and coming back to either that puppy pose or maybe you're ready for a child's pose. It's all about the knees. So if your knees can handle that much flexion, you're welcome to come to child's pose. But if it hurts, stay up in your puppy. So the goal is to take the weight off the shoulders and off the wrists. So let them rest. Let's take 2 more breaths. Place your palms out in front, roll up to your tabletop, tuck your toes. Inhale again and roll up to downward facing dog. Extend the right leg up towards the sky. Just like we did, they're like mountain climbers. We're going to inhale here, exhale, right knee towards the right elbow. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, try to tap your elbow with your knee. It's okay if you don't. Just come close, get as close as you can. One more time, 3 times. Lifting it back up, we'll drop the right toes down. Look towards your hands and let's walk towards them. We end up in a forward fold. Soft knees. Let your arms just hang, so if you need to separate your feet wider, please do that. Listen to your body. See what works best for you. Let your head go. Shake it no. Shake it yes. We're going to soften our knees as deeply as we can, so bend them. Sweep your arms out and let your arms carry you all the way up. Reach up to the sky. And then bring your hands to your heart center. Relax your shoulders. Alright, we're going to start full body flow here. So inhale with your palms at your heart center. Exhale, hands to the sides of your body. Inhale, arms reach out, up, overhead. Exhale, hands come through the heart center. We're staying tall, standing tall. Hands are just floating down. Inhale, sweep them around the body, up, overhead. Hands touch. And then they come down through that heart center, all the way down. They roll off of each other. Last time, inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, let them roll down. As they come to your heart, release your arms to the side. Sweep your arms out and up overhead. This time, the arms are going to sweep out to the side. We're going to bend through our knees, kind of like you're sitting in a chair. And then we'll roll over the legs to get to the feet. So you want to kind of squat down here, soften the knees. We're going to stretch each hamstring, so that's the back of the leg. Give it a little bit extra attention. With an inhale, straighten just your left leg. Keep your right knee bent and then bend. Try it on the other side. Just the right leg this time. And bend. Work with your breath. Inhale, straighten just your left leg. Exhale and bend. This time just your right leg. Exhale, bend. One more on each side so that we get a total of 3 in. Nice work. Come back to kind of that center bent knee posture. We're going to lift our hands up to shins or knees, lengthen the legs, lengthen the arms, lengthen the spine. So pretend like someone is pulling back on your hips, someone else is pulling forward on your head. Shoulders down. One more breath. Pull that belly button in to your spine. And exhale, relax, bending through the knees. I bring my hands to the floor and step 1 foot back, and then the other foot back to that downward facing dog, and I want to gaze back at the toes or the ankles for that posture. You're welcome to pedal it out. Most of us just go to that naturally. Look from your toes to your hands and start to roll forward like you're going to do a push-up. So feel free to make any adjustments in your body. And then we'll do that again. Look back at your toes, lift the hips up, looking backwards there, and then we'll look forwards and move the weight forward into plank. One more time. Rolling forward to plank. You can drop to your knees if you need. Untuck the toes, and we'll lower down onto our belly, onto the floor. Squeeze the elbows back. Point the toes back, but then drop them down into the mat. And then we'll start to press down into the floor, into the mat with the belly button, and look forward. You should feel your back engage. You can lift up from there if you want to, keeping those elbows pulled into the sides. Lower yourself back down to the floor, tuck the toes, rise up to hands and knees, and then roll yourself up to that downward facing dog. Look from your toes once again to your hands, and we'll start to walk our hands and feet closer together. Walk your feet forward, walk your hands back, whatever you need to come to a forward fold. Inhale and lift halfway. Again, someone's going to pull on your head, someone else is going to pull on your hips. Stretching out your whole torso. Last breath there. Pull the belly button inward, almost like you're sucking it in. And then we'll exhale, bending through the knees. Roll over those legs. Soften the knees as deeply as you need. Widen your stance if you need to. Sweep the arms out. Press through the feet. Reverse swan dive all the way up. Hands touch overhead. Exhale to the heart center. Let's take 2 more breaths, just kind of grounding through the feet. Feeling sturdy here in this samastiti. It means same stance. So make sure that you have the same amount of weight in each foot, in each leg, in each hip. We're going to add our lunges in here, so take a step forward towards the top of your mat. And if you have a blanket like I do, then that's a nice landmark to step back over. So again, inhale here at your heart. Exhale, hands come down to the side. Inhale up, overhead, reaching up high. And then let the hands separate and come out to the side. Soften your knees. We're going to forward fold over top of the legs. Stand on your right foot. Keep your fingers on the ground or on blocks if you have them handy. And we're going to slide our left foot back so that it lifts up into the air. So this is called an assisted warrior 3. And if you would like to unassist, then try to put all of your weight on your right foot, lifting your fingers or hands away from the mat. So keep them close at first so that you can really gain that balance. Nice work. Try to rise your back up a little bit so that it's parallel to the floor and to the ceiling. It's hard work. Drop your hands back down and step your left foot as far back as you can with your heel lifted. The right toes are still forward. Bend your right knee and see if you can push into the mat and lift your hands away from the ground, bringing them up to your heart. Still the right knee is bent and the left heel is lifted. We are going to soften the left knee slightly so that that left hip can square to the right hip so that it's nice and straight. And if you'd like to, you're welcome to sweep your hands to the sky. Take 2 more breaths, deepening that stretch, deepening into the right knee, if it's available for you. We're going to add a twist here. So that means our left hand is going to come down to our right knee. The right hand will sweep back towards the back of our mat. So we want our left hand on the right knee, right hand reaching back. Maybe your right hand comes down to the left thigh. Beautiful. Come on back to center where we first began. We're going to just drop our left heel down to the ground so that now our feet resemble a big L shape. Right toes come back to the left heel comes forward 90 degrees. Bend into your right knee so that it too is in a 90-degree angle, or as close as you can get it. And then we'll sweep our arms out. Surf on that yoga mat a little bit. Make sure that right knee is always being pulled back. 2 more breaths, just sustaining that position so that you can really feel almost like a burn that's happening in your thigh. In your core, perhaps. Pull everything into the midline. Last breath. Bend into your right elbow and drop it onto the top of your right knee and reach that left hand all the way up to the sky. Look up to that left hand if you'd like. Great job, everybody. Reach up with that left arm, grab onto a rope and pull yourself up to center. And we're going to go reverse, so we're going to bind. So take this left arm, turn the palm down and back so that the thumb is facing down. And we're going to bring that hand behind our back by bending the elbow. Now, if that's just a lot of pain, there's pain, don't do that, just keep the arm like this. So if that's okay, keep it like that, and we're going to lean to the left and reach the right arm up. Make sure your right knee stays bent. I know it's burning, it's getting stronger, that's what that means. 1 more breath. And pull yourself back up. Beautiful job. Now what we're going to do is windmill down over top that right leg. So I drop the right arm down, left arm down, and my left heel comes back up into the air. Let's step back to downward dog. A vinyasa. Vinyasa is plank. So roll forward to plank. You can drop to your knees first, lowering down onto the mat. Untuck the toes. Drop the feet into the mat, the tops of your feet. Inhale, rise up through your heart. Exhale, roll back down. Tuck your toes, downward dog. Pedal it out a couple times. Look from your toes to your hands and step forward, walk forward. We're going to start the other side from here. So, left foot is going to stay where it is. Right foot, we're going to send it back into the air. So fingertips on the floor or on blocks. Slide the left foot back. Maybe you right foot back. The left foot is your standing foot this time. So sorry. Right foot is flying behind us. Now you're welcome to stay assisted with your hands on the mat or on the ground, but if you want to try to lift the hands away from the ground, it's going to be very challenging. That side's really off for me today. I like to blame things on the planets and how they're constantly moving. So from here, drop the hands back into the mat. Drop your toes towards the back of the mat, the right toes. The heel stays lifted. And from there, we're going to press hard into the left foot and lift your arms up away from the ground. Bring them up to your heart center. 2 more breaths. Grounding down right here. Now let's adjust. Repose, if you will. We're going to soften the back right knee. And what that does is it takes some tension off of the front of that right hip, the hip flexor. And now, mostly we're just feeling the burning in the left thigh. It's getting strong. If you want to, you can sweep your hands up to the sky for our last breath or 2. Here's our twist. The right hand comes down to the left knee or thigh. The left hand sweeps back behind us. And if you want to, it could drop down as well, so that there's no reaching going on. It's just relaxed shoulders. We're just twisting through mid-back. Yeah, my leg is burning for sure. Let's take one more breath there. Beautiful work. We're going to unwind. So you're going to see the back of my body here. I'm going to drop my right heel down. So my right toes are facing this long end of my mat. Left toes are still pointing to the top edge of my mat. And we want to get that right leg kind of in a right angle with the left, so that the heels are lined up in 90 degrees. This left knee is also in 90 degrees, or as close as you can. And let's open the arms. So I'm going to face the other way, so I'm facing the camera, but I'll keep my same legs there. There we go. All right, so let's add some of those variations. We're going to bend into left elbow, drop onto the left knee, and reach the right hand straight up. I like to have my camera on because then I can see how, before my head was lifted, and then I just kind of lengthen the crown straight out so that it's in alignment with my hip. It doesn't look all crunched. Beautiful. Let's bring ourselves back up to center, softening into that left knee. We're going to bind, so turn the right palm down and turn the right palm back so that the thumb is facing down. Bend that elbow, and maybe the hand can slide to your low back. If not, maybe just the hip. From there, we're going to lean to the right. Left hand reaches up. Bend into the left knee. I know it's burning a lot, so if you need to take a break and straighten it, feel free. We'll come on back up to center, and we're going to windmill over. Left hand down, right hand down. The right heel lifts up. Step on back to your one of your final downward dogs. Pedal it out. Legs are burning, huh? Yeah, mine are too. They're getting strong. Here's your final vinyasa. Look towards your hands. Plank. You can lower to your knees. We're going to chaturanga, lowering to the ground. Heart lift of your choice. Got a leaf stuck in my hair. And then we'll tuck our toes and roll back to that downward facing dog. Pedal it out a couple times. This is that final downward dog. Maybe wag your tail a couple times here, rocking the hips from side to side. Reach the right leg up to the sky. Roll over your hands and try to tap that right knee to your right elbow. Roll on back up to the tripod downward dog. Let's switch sides. Left leg lifts up to the sky. Roll over the hands and try to tap your elbow with the left knee, and then reach it back up. Tripod downward dog. Drop the toes. Drop the knees. Let's have one last child's pose. Puppy pose is a great option as well, a nice alternative. Give your arms a break by sweeping them back towards your pinky toes. I like to put my forehead on a block or a blanket. Great job, everybody. Let's rise up, hands and knees. Rise up to kneeling just on the knees. I'm going to tuck my toes, so both toes are going to tuck under. Right hand is going to reach back for my right heel. If you can't reach, just hovering is okay. So right hand, right heel. Left hand sweeps up to the sky. It's called Ardha Ustrasana. So that means half camel posture. Now to come out of that, sink the hips down like they're gonna sit onto the calves, and then roll over your spine. The idea is to roll around the spine so that you don't roll right on top of the spine and impinge a nerve. So we don't want to impinge anything. So let's do that to the left too. Left hand reaches back for the left heel, right hand reaches up to the sky. A big open heart posture, a little back bend in there. And then when you're ready, sink those hips down and roll around the spine. Coming back up. Great job, everybody. Let's make our way onto our back. So, trying to make up my mind if I want my head to be by Jameson's butt or if I want my head to be by the tree. I think I'm gonna go with the tree. So I'm gonna use my blanket for over my toes because I'm outside and it's fall in Colorado and it's a little chilly. I've got long underwear on and everything just so I could do this outside. Let's roll back onto our back. And so now I've got this nice little cocoon for my feet and I'm going to slip them out of that blanket and pull my knees to my chest. Rocking into the back a little bit, feeling the back spread apart. Separating the knees so that the hips are more natural out to the sides a little bit. Just rocking over the spine into the pelvis side to side. If you need to add anything else in, please do. I'm going to add in a twist today. So what I'm going to do is bring my legs up so that they resemble sitting in a chair. And I'm going to spread my arms out wide. You can see here I'm on a yoga deck, so my arms actually go lower than the ground. And that's okay with me. I'm going to rock my knees over to the left. Trying to ground down into my right shoulder and really feel that mid-back and feel that right hip stretching. And then from here, I'm going to use the core. Think belly button to the spine and spine to the yoga mat as I come back to center. We'll go to the other side, legs dropping over towards the right as the left shoulder pins itself down to the yoga deck, to the mat, to the floor. And then we'll come on back up, and if you want to do that again on each side or back and forth a couple times, please feel free to do that. I'm giving myself one last little hug here. And then I'm going to slip my feet back into my little cocoon. And I fold my yoga blankets a specific way so that I can have a foot cocoon and then roll the blanket up over my legs. You can lay down on your mat with your legs a little bit apart, with your arms slightly off the side of your body, or maybe your hands are stacked on top of the belly or on top of your chest a little bit. Let's take about 2 minutes to just lay here in our body. 2 minutes is not hard to ask. Find stillness. Resolve any tension in your face, in your jaw. Notice any residual sensation in the body. Residue from the practice fading away. Just you laying on your yoga mat. we'll begin to rock our head gently from side to side, just bringing movement into your neck. Recognize that when we are on the yoga mat, when we're practicing our asana practice, this yoga practice, movement practice, we're practicing the yamas, or these 5 first limbs of yoga, on ourselves, being healing, non-harming. We're being honest and not lying. We're being open to all the opportunities and not stealing. And using our action in the best way that we can, and finding the middle way, finding the right way for us, moderation, non-excess. Reach your hands out, reach them up overhead if you want. Point your toes down to the bottom of the mat, arms reaching up to the top of the mat. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And relax. You're welcome to stay here on your back. If you need to add any motion into your body before you start rolling to a side, feel free to do that. And so we'll begin to roll to a side. You can find your way right up to a seat if you're working in fast motion today. Otherwise, just take your time, be slow. Make sure that you listen to your body on your way up. I've got my blanket over my lap here. And so I have a nice way of thinking of Brahmacharya and how we can take it off the mat. So that's what happens when we do yoga, or we practice yoga off the mat. So yoga on the mat is towards yourself. Love yourself, honest with yourself. Off the mat is love others, honesty towards others. And so some good examples of that would be only eat when you're hungry, but don't overeat. Exercise regularly, but don't overtrain. And rest when your body's tired, but don't lay in bed all day. So it's finding moderation. It's about finding your best use of action and acting in accordance to the divine, to God. So thank you for being here, for rolling out the mat, for listening to your body and having a lot of honor for your own body. And then also for using your breath, for being here, having your presence, for your heart, for your mind. I bow to each of you. Thank you so much for joining me today, for your dedication to the practice. I bow to that space in you, inside of me, that space that pervades the entire universe, where that healing, that truth, that moderation lays. So, namaste. Thank you so much for being here today. In Shukriya. Great job.